I made a video a few weeks ago about the Sigma 18-35 f1.8 zoom lens, the art lens. And unfortunately I have to correct that video, so let's talk a little bit about this. Hello YouTubers, my name is Attila Mate from Blue Sky Photography, and today I'd like to talk to you about the Sigma 18-35 f1.8 zoom art lens. And this is not a good topic for me, unfortunately, to talk about, because this is my favorite lens, one of my favorite lenses. And unfortunately there's an issue with this lens, and I made a video a few months ago about this lens and about the focusing issues, if this lens does have any focusing issues, and I have to correct this video. On that video, one of my viewers, Mr. Orban Lajos, commented from Romania, and he drew my attention to something which honestly I didn't observe. So he had a situation with the 18-35 that if he used the autofocus points, the side points on the Nikon D7200, the lens didn't focus correctly. So I told him, okay, so I will do a test myself, because I didn't try this until now, so let's do it. And I did a test, and unfortunately he was right. So the 18-35 lens, and it looks like almost all the 18-35 lenses have this issue. If you use the side points, either of the sides, of the sensor, if you use the side points, the lens will not focus correctly. And I will show in my computer, I will show you what I mean by that, so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is the reason why I didn't observe this, and probably the reason why almost nobody, I didn't get any information about this on YouTube or anywhere, just a few websites mentioned this, but almost nobody observed this issue, because myself and many other photographers, I will use the center point for focusing, so I don't use the side points only when I'm in tracking. But on the other hand, I don't really use this lens for tracking, because this is kind of a wide angle lens, so I don't really use for tracking. I will use for tracking my 50-100 zoom, but I don't really use this for tracking. So maybe that's the reason why I didn't notice, but that's okay, because Mr. Orban drew my attention to it, so we did the test, and I would like to correct this as soon as possible, so anybody can check, the lens, and let's find out what's the issue. So I think that Sigma knows about this, and I wrote a letter to Sigma, and they didn't answer to me. They don't have a representative in Ireland, so I had to write it to UK, but I hope that they will answer as soon as possible. So let's get into my computer, and let's see what's the test result. So we are in my computer now, and let's open up the Optics Pro, and these are the photos I took. Now I didn't have a wide test chart, so I made one from an A4 page, just a white page. I was very curious to find out, if it's true or not. And you can see over here the test chart, it's like approximately in 45 degrees, and I focused all the time on the 0. Now you can see on this side, the left side of the screen, that this is done with Nikon D7200 and Sigma 18-35 f1.8. So you can see also the EXIF data over here, like ISO 100 f1.8, 1/640th of a second at 35 millimeters. So let's get a little bit closer and let's see what I'm talking about. Now, if I use the center focus point, yeah, and I focused on 0. Now the 0 is over here on the red cross, and this was shot from approximately about 60 centimeters from the page, 60, maximum 70 centimeters, so it's pretty close to the page. And as you can see, it's a little bit back focusing, just a little bit. It's not too big issue, but it's a little bit back focusing. Now, if I draw this on the side, you can see that on the side is the same, the focus is on the same place. You can see on this side again, it's from 0 and it's a little bit back focusing. And if we go on the other side, you can see that on the other side the focus is on the same place. Yeah, here on this side you see it's a little bit, well, we can say that it's almost okay on this side. So there is a little bit of difference from the left to the right side, but it's not a big issue. This is okay. This is not a big problem. Now we go to the second shot, and the second shot I moved the focus point just a little bit on the left or on the right side. I don't really remember which was left or right, but approximately I think I started with the left side. So you see again the focus point is over here on the right side, is exactly the same place where it was before. In the middle, exactly the same place where it was before. And if we go on the left side, it is on the same place. So if we move just one point, I move on the side, the focus will stay there. Now we go two focus points on the side in this shot, and you can see that the second focus point, it's already completely gone. You can see over here the red cross is over here, so I focused over there, and the focus is front focusing. I mean a lot. It's a big difference over there. And you see over here, it's completely gone. It's completely gone. Now, this was on the left side, I think, and this is on the right side. Because I did one here, one there. So I think, you see, it's exactly, again, the same story on the right side as well. You see, it's a little bit closer. It's not as bad as the other one, but still it's front focusing. With pretty much, I mean, it's a lot. So this is a problem. I mean, unfortunately, if you are tracking with this lens, if you use for tracking, you will have issues. I mean, again, you see over here, this is the middle, and this is back focusing over here in the middle. And if we go to the right side, it's front focusing. So the problem is not that it is back focusing or front focusing, because that one you can adjust with the USB dock. The problem is that in one side is back focusing and on the other side is front focusing. So that means that the focus is kind of shifted on the side, and that's an issue, because if it would be a straight line, you know, back focusing or front focusing, that's not an issue, because you can correct on that millimeter, on that distance, you correct it, you know, and that's it, you know. But if you see that I didn't move the camera at all, so the distance, it wasn't different, it was the same distance, only the focus points were changed. Now these, when it was I don't really remember now which picture was with which focus point, but I know that where it was very bad, that was the side. So it's on the very side of the frame, well, the focus area, you know, because the Nikon D7200 doesn't have all over the frame, so it will have the focus area. So it was on the very side of the focus area, and that was the bad, you know, that was pretty bad. If you go towards the center of the focus area, so let's say like the center 9 points was okay, so that was fine, that was completely fine. A little bit, maybe a little bit of difference, but it's not a big issue. I mean, that wouldn't be a problem. But when you go on the side, it's a big difference. So as you can see over here, it is very, very big difference, and that's a problem, you know. And but on the other side, you don't really I mean, I don't really track with this lens. I don't know if you try to track with this lens, and if you try to to do sports or something, but this is not that kind of lens, you know. This is maybe on a wedding, or I don't know, if you want to track something, then it might be an issue, because then you can get blurry images, out of focus images. But other than that, you know, it should not be an issue. Now, if you are in landscape, or if you do portraits with this lens, but this lens is, again, is not for portraits, but if you do landscape or just general everyday photography, then you don't really notice this issue, because you will use the center point, you know, and then that's completely fine, you know, it's working fine. So I think myself that this is not a big problem for me, but I wanted to correct this, because this could be an issue for some people. So if you are tracking with this lens and you are wondering why you have some blurry shots, then you have to contact Sigma, and you have to send it back, unfortunately. But they will, I'm sure they will work on this, and they sent an email to Mr. Orban Lajos, you know, and he's a photographer from Romania, and they told that they are working on it, and they will release probably a firmware update or something, and that will resolve the issue. But until now, I mean, if we would complain, you know, probably they would do something, but we didn't complain, because we didn't notice the issue, you know. So hopefully that you understand what I'm talking about, and hopefully it will help some of you out there. If you have some blurry images, test this lens, you know, you can do a chart just like I did, you know, and just draw some straight lines, and just, you have to make sure that the camera is 90 degrees to the test chart, you know, so it's not on the side, because if it's on the side, you know, then it won't be good. But the camera has to be exactly 90 degrees to the test chart. And if you shoot the images, you can check after that, you know, if you have issues with the lens, sorry. Hopefully not, but unfortunately my lens has. And like I told you, for me it's not a big issue. It's okay, because I don't really use for that kind of purposes, and for what I use this lens, that's okay. It works perfectly, so it's fine. Like you can see in my video, you know, in where I did the video about this lens and the focusing issues, you can see over there that every photo was in focus, you know, because I used the center point, and even with when I used the tracking, you know, the subject wasn't moving. I was moving around, but the subject wasn't moving, so that's why I didn't notice this. But anyway, a special thanks to Mr. Orban, because he drew my attention to it, and I know myself, you know, that my lens has this problem, and hopefully this will be resolved as soon as possible. So I hope this video was helpful to you, and I hope that you liked it. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. And this is an unfortunate news, and I'm sorry I had to bring you bad news as well, not always good news. But let's hope that Sigma will fix this as soon as possible. So I wish you a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.
Heart on fire, set my heart afire.